Hi, this is Pete Kramer, and pastor in Port St. Lucie, Florida. And Pete and I go back quite some ways. Went to Bible college together, and he's been pastoring in Topeka, Kansas, and now in Florida. You know, beach pastoring that, and
Someone has to do
it,
it.
that's right. Somebody has to do it. So Pete, got you on today just to talk a little bit about My Counselor Online in this nationwide network of Christian counselors that we're building to be able to be a reliable and trustworthy referral source for pastors like yourself that, from time to time have needs within your body that you just don't have the time to be able to spend with them with the degree of need that they have. And so having reliable, trustworthy sources for referral are just key. And based on your experience just with me, with us, is this something that's useful to you as a pastor, and would you recommend it to others?
Yeah, Josh, that's a great question. And our friendship goes back 20 years. So I can absolutely vouch for your heart for God and God's people and taking care of God's people. And so I think that this idea is fantastic because it's opening up access to people to have quality Christian counseling who may not otherwise get it in their geographical location. And it kind of
Right.
removes that boundary out of the way. So for somebody like myself who's pastoring, who there are certain limitations, and every pastor and every person really ought to know what their limitations are and where they need to get structure and get help from outside trusted sources. And really a lot of pastors spend a lot of time doing homework in their area, looking for people that they can trust to send their people in their church to for
Right.
quality help. And a lot of times they have to make a compromise of quality help at the expense of a biblical value or a
Right.
biblical perspective on counseling. And I know for myself, I only know of a couple of quality Christian counselors in this area of Florida, and they're just jammed busy, which is fantastic that there's godly people who are in the counseling field who have a full practice. But at the same point, there's still such a huge need. And I know that my resource and my information and my help can only go so far, that I have to be able to have somebody that I can refer them to who I trust, who I know where they're coming from biblically, and really do want to see them become healthy emotionally and mentally and spiritually. So a more
Right.
well-rounded result in a patient's life beyond just the psychological side. You have the Word of God infused in that as well, and I think that's just
Right.
fantastic.
Well, thanks, Pete. Appreciate you taking the time just to share that. That's definitely our heart, that we want to be clinically sound as well as biblically sound in the counsel that we provide, so that pastors like yourself have a reliable place that they can refer to and trust that we're going to take care of their people in a way that they can feel good about. And
You know, and sorry to interrupt, but I think in so many ways, this may actually be a better step for somebody, because if I refer somebody to a person or to a counselor, a physical location, maybe a couple of miles from my church, I'm hoping that they go there unless I physically take them there. But I think when this is a little bit more digital, I think a lot of people are going to find a little bit more safety in the distance, and it's not quite in the room.
right.
And so they may be willing to open up even more, or maybe take that actual step because they can do that a little bit on their own time in their own location. They're not having to go to a separate brick and mortar location. And I'm not saying that's bad, but this may actually be an easier step for somebody to get the help that they need when it's in an online, very simple to use format like this.
Sure, all the barriers that we can reduce, right? Because it's hard enough to reach out for help and to be willing to take that step, have that vulnerability, go through that process. And so, any hindrances or obstacles that we can remove from people's way, and them actually being able to step out and get the help that they have need of, is definitely what we want to do.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for your time, Pete. You have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much, Josh.